What happens when an entire nation lives under an authoritarian regime? This is not a hypothetical question for the citizens of North Korea, a nation where the political landscape is marked by strict control and limited exposure to the outside world. Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel, a documentary on the unveiling psychology of a journey of discovery, growth, and liberation in North Korea. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, is a country that has long captured global attention. Its political system, a form of totalitarianism with a single-party rule led by the Kim dynasty, is one of the few remaining in the world today. The government exercises control over many aspects of the nation's life, including a strict regulation of information. This control extends to the media, where the state dictates what can be broadcast, printed, or even discussed among citizens. This creates an environment where access to global news and diverse perspectives is severely limited. It's like living in a world where the walls are not just physical, but also mental, erected by the state to contain not just people, but their thoughts and perceptions. But what does this mean for the psychology of the North Korean people? According to experts, the implications are profound. Imagine living in a society where your worldview is shaped almost entirely by what the government allows you to see and hear. This limited exposure to the outside world can distort perceptions and beliefs, fostering a reality that is carefully curated by those in power. Dr. Hannah Lee, a psychologist who has studied the effects of information control on human psychology, explains, when you're only exposed to a single narrative, it becomes your reality. You believe it. Not because you're naive, but because it's all you know. It's a form of psychological conditioning that can deeply influence how you perceive yourself and the world around you. In the heart of such a regime, the human mind adapts in fascinating ways. It navigates the narrow path laid out by the state, finding ways to survive and even thrive within the confines of its world. The psychology of North Korea's citizens is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Even in the face of extraordinary circumstances, it's a narrative of adaptation, survival, and the enduring power of the human mind. The Defectors perspective. Imagine living in a world where your every move is watched and controlled. Now imagine escaping it. In the heart of North Korea, the psychological landscape is a stark contrast to the world outside. The Defectors, people who have escaped this regime, carry unique stories that illuminate the depths of the human spirit and resilience. Each narrative is a testament to the human capacity to adapt and overcome, even in the face of extreme adversity. These defectors share tales of living under an omnipresent surveillance, a world where every word, every action is scrutinized. The fear of punishment for deviating from the state's narrative is deeply ingrained in the psyche. The constant pressure to conform, the suppression of individuality, the erasure of self. It's a psychological burden that's hard to fathom for those who haven't lived it. Yet within this realm of control, a spark of defiance often kindles. The decision to defect is not taken lightly. It's a leap into the unknown, a gamble with life itself. This moment of decision is a profound psychological shift, a turning point where fear of the known outweighs fear of the unknown. Once outside, the defectors face a new world, a world of freedom and choices. But with this newfound freedom comes an unexpected challenge: the mental adjustment. The transition from a world of control and restriction to one of autonomy and options can be overwhelming. The psychological adjustment is a journey of unlearning and relearning, of breaking old patterns and forming new ones. Defectors often grapple with a sense of guilt and responsibility for those left behind. They carry the memories of their homeland, the faces of their loved ones, and the weight of their experiences. It's a complex mix of relief, guilt, joy, and sorrow, a psychological cocktail that takes time to process and understand. Escaping North Korea is just the start of a long psychological journey. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a narrative of survival and adaptation, of breaking free from chains and finding one's own path. And as we delve deeper into their stories, we begin to understand the psychological toll of living and escaping from North Korea. The power of propaganda. How powerful can propaganda be in shaping our beliefs and perceptions? This question becomes particularly illustrative when we delve into the world of North Korean state-controlled media and propaganda. Imagine living in a society where every newspaper, every television show, every billboard, and every radio broadcast is meticulously crafted to promote a single narrative: the infallibility and greatness of the state and its leaders. In North Korea, state-controlled media is not just a tool for disseminating information. It is a powerful mechanism to shape citizens' worldviews and perceptions. This is achieved through a steady diet of meticulously curated content that glorifies the state, demonizes its enemies, and paints a picture of the world that is often far removed from reality. Expert analysis reveals how constant exposure to such propaganda can deeply influence the minds of North Korean citizens. The absence of alternative viewpoints and the relentless repetition of the state's narrative can create a form of cognitive dissonance, where citizens may even reject information that contradicts the official narrative, regardless of its veracity. Defectors from North Korea provide us with some of the most compelling evidence of the power of such propaganda. They recount tales of being taught from an early age that their leaders were godlike figures, capable of miraculous feats. They speak of being convinced that their country was the envy of the world, despite the stark realities of poverty, repression, and human rights abuses. These stories underscore the profound power of propaganda in shaping our beliefs and perceptions. They remind us of the dangers of a media landscape devoid of diverse perspectives and critical thinking. They highlight the importance of skepticism, questioning, and the pursuit of truth in the face of manipulation and deception. In an isolated nation like North Korea, propaganda is not just a tool of the state. It becomes the lens through which reality is perceived. It becomes the narrative that defines identities, beliefs, and perceptions. It is a chilling reminder of the power that narratives hold over our minds and our perception of the world around us. In an isolated nation, propaganda becomes the lens through which reality is perceived. The psychology of fear and control. What happens to a mind that lives in constant fear? This question leads us into the heart of our discussion today: the psychology of fear and control. Living under constant surveillance and fear has a profound psychological impact. Psychologists argue that it is akin to living under a psychological microscope, where every thought, action, and emotion is constantly scrutinized. This type of fear is not just about immediate physical danger, but also the ever-present threat of social and psychological consequences. It's a fear that never leaves, a haunting specter in the back of the mind. Under such circumstances, fear controls behavior and shapes personality in ways that are both subtle and profound. It can lead to a state of hypervigilance where every sound, every movement, every word is constantly monitored for potential threats. This state of high alert can become the default, leading to chronic stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues. But fear is not just a psychological weapon, it's also a tool of control. The regime in North Korea uses fear as a means to maintain control over its citizens. It's a form of psychological warfare, where the battleground is the mind. The regime uses a variety of tactics to instill this fear, from widespread surveillance to harsh punishments for perceived disloyalty. By keeping its citizens in a state of constant fear, the regime ensures their compliance and obedience. So how does the mind cope with such fear? Psychologists suggest that in a state of constant fear, the mind finds ways to survive. Some may develop defense mechanisms such as denial or dissociation to cope with the overwhelming fear. Others may internalize the fear, resulting in self-censorship and extreme caution in their actions and speech. In the end, the psychology of fear and control is a complex and multifaceted issue. It's a testament to the human mind's resilience and adaptability, but also a stark reminder of the profound impact that fear and control can have on our mental well-being. In a state of constant fear, the mind finds ways to survive. And for many in North Korea, survival is the ultimate goal, the journey to freedom. What does freedom mean to someone who has never experienced it? This question takes us on a journey into the minds of those who've escaped North Korea. Their psychological journey is an odyssey of sorts, a path uncharted and filled with an array of emotions. Imagine for a moment the feeling of stepping out from a world of seclusion and control into a world bursting with choices, liberties, and opportunities. It's a world where the concept of freedom isn't just an abstract idea, but a tangible reality. For many North Korean defectors, this transition can be overwhelming, leading to a phenomenon often referred to as freedom shock. The adjustment to this newfound freedom often presents itself as a formidable challenge. Suddenly, the defectors are faced with the task of making decisions they've never had to make before. From choosing what to eat, deciding what to wear, to deciphering the complexities of a democratic society, these tasks can induce a sense of anxiety and confusion. The psychological journey doesn't stop there. The mental health issues that often arise in these individuals are another critical aspect of their journey to freedom. Research indicates that many defectors experience post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and anxiety, the invisible scars from a life left behind. Yet amidst these struggles, there are stories of resilience and triumph, like the tale of a woman who, after escaping North Korea, went on to become a human rights advocate, using her voice to shed light on the realities of life in her homeland. Or the story of a young man who, despite grappling with the alienation of his new surroundings, pursued education and now holds a doctoral degree. These personal stories serve as poignant reminders of the human spirit's capacity to adapt, to overcome, and to thrive. They remind us that the journey to freedom, while fraught with challenges, is also a journey of discovery, growth, and ultimately, liberation. Freedom, for those who escape, is a complex psychological journey filled with both challenges and triumphs. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.